Dr. Nicole Ferdinand, and I'm one of the workshop leaders that the Carnival youth team will be using to deliver workshops at the Carnival Expo this year. They have decided they want a theme on history, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. They've also challenged me in talking about history to find a new and innovative way of talking about it. So I've decided this year, in talking about history at the Carnival Expo, I'm going to be talking about it through the use of tangible objects which the audience can touch and feel. So I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the objects I plan to display at Carnival Expo. So this one is a mask, which is a part of many European carnival traditions. You don't find it at Caribbean carnivals, and I'm going to be talking about why that is. This one is a headscarf. Headscarf had a unique role, I think, during slavery carnival celebrations. So I'm going to talk a bit about the role of the headscarf and how it was used, why it was used. And I'm going to talk a bit about this more mundane item. It's a bottle of baby powder and what people did with them or continue to do with them during traditional carnival parades. So the first object I'm going to be talking about is this one. It's a mask. These types of masks, this is actually one from the Carnival in Nice, France. It's a type of mask that's used in many European carnivals. You don't find these masks in Caribbean carnivals. There's a specific reason why that is. Now, the majority of Caribbean carnivals come from one place, that's Trinidad and Tobago. So they are all linked in some way to the Trinidad Carnival. So the forms and the looks of these celebrations are all similar because they come from the same roots. So back in Trinidad, Carnival first was celebrated on the island with the arrival of the French plantation class. So you're talking about 18th century. So if you go to historical documents on the island during that time and you read about Carnival, you read about them being mask balls and celebrations. So typically with important Europeans attending. These would be French, Spanish, and also English Europeans. So they would have used these masks. Up until emancipation and post-emancipation celebrations, when carnival celebrations went out into the streets, the post-slavery population also wore masks. But at that time, some of the post-slavery population, so the ex-slaves, used these masks as a way to disguise their identity and take revenge on the former plantation class. So what they do is they'd wear these masks and use the masks to disguise their identity and do things like destroy business places, destroy property, and things like this. So after a period of this activity going on, the colonial powers banned the wearing of masks in public. So this is why up to today you don't see masks as part of Caribbean carnival celebrations because of the banning of the practice. One of the more unusual objects I'm going to talk about during my workshop on the history of Caribbean carnivals would be this one. It's an ordinary container of baby powder, but actually it's also a vital component of one of the traditional characters that form part of Caribbean carnivals. Now these characters actually are linked to Trinidad's relationship with military powers. So first off the British, and also because of our brief occupation by US military forces during the World War II. So this flask of baby powder is normally carried by what is called a sailor masquerader. So somebody who dresses up as a sailor. And what these sailors do to add a little bit more danger to their portrayal is they typically shake their flask of powder like so at people looking on and other masqueraders. And one of the things that they say when they shake their flask of powder is that you can't play mass and freight powder. This would be the powder they're referring to. So oftentimes you see these gentlemen, they're normally men, in their sailor costumes and their faces are white. It's because they have baby powder on it. Now you don't see these gentlemen that much anymore, but anytime you have any kind of segment with traditional masquerade players or costume players, you'll see these gentlemen and you'll see their white faces, and it's normally whitened with baby powder.